I'm Dr. Bernadine Bank, and I'm running for Congress. I'm running for Congress in the 5th Congressional District in Eastern Washington. That district is very large. It runs from the Canadian border all the way down to the Oregon border, and then from the Idaho state line about a third of the way into the state. There's a lot of farming communities. There are a lot of Indian reservations in this district. There are a lot of smaller cities, as well as Spokane, which is the second largest city in the state, actually. In 2006, our family moved to Colbert, Washington. This is where I live, and it's a little bit north of Spokane. It's definitely in the eastern part of the state of Washington and a little bit west of the Idaho border. I am the youngest of 10 children. My parents, both of them, came up through the Depression. My father was a machinist. He graduated from 8th grade. My mom was pretty impressive because she had me at 40, and when I went off to 1st grade, she had a college degree already, but then she went back and got a teaching degree and became an art teacher in the public school system, in the junior higher system back in our town. So they both had this almost like pioneer spirit, if you will, where even it didn't matter where you were at in life, you could reinvent yourself. I went to public schools from kindergarten through 8th grade, and then I attended St. Francis Academy, an all-girls Catholic high school. From there, I went on to be an exchange student in Australia. After being a Rotary Exchange student in Australia for a year, I returned to the United States and tried to wait tables, and I was not a very good waitress. I didn't make very good tips, and I realized that I was not going to be able to make the money I needed to go to college as a waitress. In the meantime, I had been invited to return to Australia and learn to hunt foxes in the outback. Foxes in Australia are considered an invasive species that destroy a lot of the environment and the livestock. And they were actually brought in by the Brits without the recognition of the potential dangerous and devastating consequences. And by doing that, I was able to raise money to go to college. From there, I went to Parkland Hospital, the University of Texas Southwestern Medical School down in Dallas, Texas. I did my residency for 4 years in obstetrics and gynecology at Parkland Hospital, and just for a lot of people, they know Parkland because that's where they took John F. Kennedy when he was shot in Dallas. In 2006, after living in Dallas for 19 years, it was time for a change. So we moved to Colbert, Washington, which is just north of Spokane. And that has been one of the best things that we could have done, because that environment was definitely a little more wholesome for raising children. And my children had lots of opportunities here to be doing outdoor activities that we really didn't have in Dallas. And I actually took a little break from practicing medicine for a few years, but in 2009, I got back into practicing at the Community Health Association of Spokane. The community clinic is a safety net for about 20% of the Spokane community. So about 100,000 patients are taken care of through the CHAS clinics throughout the community. And that's what I've been doing with the last, 15 years, is working as a gynecologist, doing outpatient visits with women in that clinic. And then in 2016, I started the gynecology department at the Spokane Veterans Hospital. Currently, about 20% of the military is female. When it became apparent that the women were not getting adequate care within our VA system, luckily a number of the Congress individuals got together and decided to vote in a mandate in 2010 to have gynecology services at all veterans hospitals. At that time, I believe approximately 5% of our VA hospitals had women's health care gynecology departments. Now it's well over 90%. But by 2016, we still didn't have a gynecology department per se at our local Spokane VA hospital. And I am happy to say that I was pulled in and recruited to fill that position. And I basically just built that department based on what I was doing at the Chaz outpatient clinic. So I already came in knowing what was needed and how to build the department. I'm really proud to say I was able to participate in the healthcare for our female veterans. They're some of the bravest people I know. And these women have been through a lot, some more than others. Probably the experiences that broke my heart the most were the incidents of military sexual trauma. And while that happens to both men and women in the military, it happens with a greater percentage to women. And unfortunately, it was for many years being swept under the rug and ignored and dismissed. And it has a lot of unfortunate consequences for our female veterans. I feel strongly that those issues need to be acknowledged, and we need to have a zero tolerance for military sexual trauma in our military forces. In my career, I've delivered over 3,000 babies, but I've never performed an elective abortion. That was my choice. I was lucky to be able to have that choice and to be able to stick to that choice. On the other hand, I always referred patients requesting a pregnancy termination to a healthcare provider that I thought was safe and reliable. I've dedicated my entire life to women's health. I cannot imagine telling a woman who is pregnant and at 20 weeks learns that her child has multiple congenital anomalies that are incompatible with life. I cannot imagine telling her that she has to go another 20 weeks and be full term when she delivers just to watch her child gasp a few breaths and die in the delivery room. And if that patient chooses to do that, I think that's her right. But I also think it is not appropriate for outsiders to tell that woman she has to do that. And I really am a little conflicted about elective pregnancy terminations. I wish no one had to have a pregnancy termination or make a decision to have an abortion. But we have incest, we have rape, we have congenital anomalies incompatible with life, and we have issues that don't allow a woman to always have the luxury of choosing when she wants to be pregnant. We even have birth control that fails, right? It's not 100%. So I think there have to be times when if a woman decides it's not right for her to be pregnant, she has to have the ability to choose safe alternatives and reliable health care for opting out of that decision. So I think that we need to fix the issue of Dobbs. I think we need to enshrine a policy in our Constitution that covers all of our states that allow women reproductive freedom and the ability to make the right decisions for themselves and their families. This is a decision that is between the patient, her provider, and God. Full stop. I'm Dr. Bernadine Bank. I'm a mother, I'm a physician, I'm a gynecologist, I'm running for Congress, and I'm asking you to raise your voice in support of my campaign. I'm Dr. Bernadine Bank, and I approve this message.